Alisson Becker, you have absolutely rocked my world. It's genuinely difficult to even have words as to what we have just witnessed there. But I'll try my best. That is the greatest goalkeeping performance that I have ever seen. And anybody who's followed me for a very long time knows that I absolutely adore Alisson Becker. Since he has came to the club, he has been one of my absolute favourite Liverpool players ever. I'm saying like top 5 ever. And I always say he's the best goalkeeper in the world. And tonight, he proved that yet again. The amount of times he saves Liverpool, the amount of games in which he only has 1 or 2 saves to make. Tonight, he had 9 or 10. And you know what? About 5 of those were absolute worldies. Absolute worldy saves. An absolutely unbelievable performance from the best goalkeeper in the world. And obviously that is going to reflect massively in my player ratings. As for the performance, it wasn't good from Liverpool. I think the game plan was to get a draw and anything else would be a bonus. But the only reason we got that is our glorious, glorious, glorious number 1. Wow. That was easily the worst 90 minutes to sit through watching Liverpool all season. And we've came out with a win. I love it. I absolutely love it. And look, obviously big up to Slot as well. Harvey Elliott, Darwin Nunez. We're going to go through all of these, obviously, as we always do, with the subs. I felt we improved as the game went on, but PSG were pretty much always the better side in that, and we are going to have to be so much better in the home leg. I believe that will be a completely different game. I believe Liverpool will set up completely differently. But let's just enjoy this for now. What a win. That is absolutely huge, and wow, I could not be happier. We deserve this. People can say that we are lucky and this and that, but what a glorious, beautiful night. Let's get straight into Liverpool player ratings for that 1-0 victory at the Parc des Princes against Paris Saint-Germain. First up, Alisson Becker. First up, the best goalkeeper on... I was going to say the best goalkeeper on the pitch tonight. First up, the best player on the pitch tonight by an absolute country mile. Liverpool, I don't think defensively were good in that game. I think first half we were actually really poor defensively. Second half, I think we improved somewhat. We kind of limited PSG mostly to kind of shots outside the box. And PSG, with their individual quality, still created, or still had some very good moments with that. And Alisson had to pull out some absolutely unbelievable saves. Even stuff like, obviously, what's his bread and butter, crosses coming in and palming the ball out and catching the ball, safe pair of hands, all of these basic attributes that a top goalkeeper should have. That, like, everything was flawless that he did tonight. Absolutely everything. I just said it there. How many saves did he make? But it's not even just the amount of saves. How many world-class, top-quality saves did he make tonight? And you might even literally have 2 hands to count it on. He's put in so many great performances for Liverpool. He has been at the epicenter of everything, of the epicenter of the reason of why we've won anything over the last number of years. And tonight, in a huge game, in a game where we were under the cosh, in a game we didn't play well, he more than dug us out. Alisson Becker, this is my first time ever in player ratings. I'm not even going to say 11 out of 10. I'm going to just completely break the scale. Alisson Becker gets a 12 out of 10. Trent Alexander-Arnold. An awful lot of people were saying that he was going to really struggle tonight. And at times he did in that game. At times up against Barcola. At times in the second half up against Kvaratskhelia for most of it. He did. But I actually thought largely he did okay. Granted, I mean, that is a difficult game for Trent as well. A game where he has to do 95% defending and about 5% attacking. You know, obviously we all know Trent's best attribute is up the pitch. And I don't think he did too badly tonight. He wasn't the cause for he wasn't the cause for any huge chances. I think he stuck at his defensive work, and as I said, bar a few moments over that game, you know, which I think any fullback would experience up against the quality that PSG have up front, and especially on the two wings. He was okay. I'm going to go 6. Ibou Kanase, I thought through the centre tonight we weren't good. I didn't like how often we allowed the likes of Dembele, Barcola, Kvaratskhelia into the box and take shots. I didn't like the amount of even crosses that were coming into the box. Obviously, that's not their fault. But I think centrally they caused us an awful lot of problems. And obviously, you know, if you look at, you know, even in terms of physicality, even in terms of height between Ibou and Virgil van Dijk, there's a big difference to the three forwards of PSG. And I think pace certainly won for the vast majority of that game over any sort of physicality. PSG created chances. At times we were naive in allowing them take shots from decent positions, even outside the box and at the edge of the box, that could have, if we didn't have Alisson Becker in goal, led to, you know, goals and multiple goals. I think if he got a red card, if that was given as a foul, it was absolutely ridiculous. If that was a red card, then literally just take out the word contact from football, because that was never a red card. I think Ibou did very well in that situation, but not as strong as tonight. I thought he was a bit better second half, but I'm going to say 5. Virgil van Dijk, like Kanase, far from his best tonight. I don't think either Kanase or Van Dijk were bad as such. I think they largely stuck at their job. And, you know, apart from a few occasions where we usually would do better, they weren't awful. It's just that when we give chances that we gave away tonight, it's, you know, it's a rarity. And it's a rarity especially with, obviously, these two through the centre, and obviously it's not their best performance, is it? And Van Dijk, I don't think it was his best either, but I do feel in the second half he was quite decent. I think especially in corners, and Ibou was the same with this, but especially Virgil van Dijk, some set pieces, some balls into the box, some really dangerous crosses, he dealt incredibly well with, as he always does airily. And ultimately I thought he did a decent job second half. I'll say 6. Andy Robertson, I don't think, again, he was awful. He had a very difficult job. He was up against Dembele for a lot of that first half, and Dembele certainly got the better of him. There was one occasion where he just basically waltzed past him, and it nearly created a really good chance for them. But apart from that, look, he stuck at it, as did Trent. I don't think, you know, obviously to his capabilities right now, I don't think he could have done much more. He didn't give away anything glaring. You could see he was tiring in the second half, and Tsimikas had to be brought on. But again, I don't think he was awful, like, apart from a few occasions. I thought second half, even though you could see he was tiring, he was still okay and didn't give away anything too bad. I'm going to say average. I'm going to say 5. Ryan Gravenberch onto the midfield. I thought first half he was decent. I thought his passing was decent. I thought he stood up defensively for most of that half. But second half, poor. Second half, really poor. There was that one header as well in which he headed it right to one of the PSG forwards in the second half, and we were lucky that it didn't lead to something big because it was in a really precarious part of our end of the pitch, our area of the pitch, I should say. And yeah, I don't know, second half, I don't know, maybe looked a bit jaded, or we certainly didn't see his best. I thought first half, as I said, he was decent, but when he went off, he needed to go off, and I think when Endo came on, he was ultimately a lot better, and was a lot better at kind of doing the basic necessities of, what's expected of himself in that job, for the 15-20 minutes that he played. Gravenberch, I'm going to say 5. Alexis McAllister, first half didn't really affect the game. Our midfield tonight was poor. Let's be real. Our midfield tonight, PSG won the midfield battle tonight for sure. I mean, in the first half especially, our midfield was just bypassed on every attack, and obviously it doesn't help the likes of Kanate, Van Dijk, even Trent Robertson, when they basically have next to nothing cover. But yeah, I think second half we seen the best parts of his defensive abilities. He won the ball back on a few occasions. He wasn't too bad, but apart from that, really didn't contribute to the game at all. A bit like Gravenberch for the majority. I'll say 5. Dominic Szoboszlai, I would say our only half-decent midfielder tonight. Our only midfielder who looked like he might actually do something. Our only midfielder that creatively looked like he might actually make something happen. Especially second half. The vast majority of the decent counterattacks that we had went through Szoboszlai. Obviously, there was that one as well where Szoboszlai did really well at the edge of the box. Passed it to Salah, and Nunez was making a good run, and Salah's pass was really, really poor. But yeah, in terms of his defensive effort, it was good. I don't feel like he did anything glaringly wrong over the 90 minutes. It certainly wasn't his fault that our midfield was so lackluster and poor for the majority of that game. And anything we did good going forward, especially second half, was through Dominic Szoboszlai. I'm honestly going to say Szoboszlai gets a 7. Mohamed Salah, let's be real, a rare off night. Very, very poor tonight. But I don't want to see anybody put our our performance going forward for the vast majority of that game on Mohamed Salah. He's more than allowed an off night, and I think every Liverpool fan with me out there would agree, or every Liverpool fan out there would agree with me on that. He wasn't even our worst forward tonight. His link-up play was poor. There was a couple of times where he didn't make good decisions. Mendes got the better of him. Let's be real, over the 90 minutes, or how long Salah played. 80 odd minutes or something. Poor, but I'm sure he'll be back and fighting at the weekend. Back amongst the goals again. Salah, I'm going to say 4. Luis Diaz next up. Worse, genuinely worse. In defense of Salah tonight, there was more football played on the left side of the pitch than the right side of the pitch for Liverpool going forward, especially in the first half. And Luis Diaz did absolutely nothing with it. Gave the ball away on multiple occasions, had to come back and defend, and gave the ball away, made some stupid decisions, made a couple of stupid fouls. Really, 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 really poor. And we can't afford that. And especially if Salah's not having his best game, then, we need to look at our other forwards. And our other forwards tonight were absolutely awful. Luis Diaz, it's probably generous, but I'm going to say 3. Diogo Jota, not to knock any of these players for effort. We all know the effort's there, but Diogo Jota, that's his worst performance I've ever seen in a Liverpool shirt. Fact. That was absolutely horrendous. That was horrendous. I can barely even recall one play or whatever Jota did somewhat well tonight, or one, kind of moment in which I was like, fair play, Jota, you've done something good there. Maybe there was a foul that he won, I think, when Marquinhos got a yellow card, and that was about it. He did similar things to Diaz, gave the ball away, was in good positions, did nothing with them. His link-up play was poor. If anything, the likes of Jota and Diaz just made PSG's defensive work so much easier for that game. Diogo Jota has certainly become very unreliable in terms of availability for Liverpool, but the level of performances that we have been seeing, especially recently, is not good enough. He's got to do better, because ultimately, and we'll get to that obviously, a sub came on tonight and did more than he did in 5 minutes. Then obviously Jota being on the pitch the whole game. Jota gets a 2. Darwin Núñez on to the subs. I am a big critic of him. Look, I'll always say I don't think he's the answer. But somebody said it in my stream as well. I forget who it was. In games where Liverpool are struggling going forward, he can be perfect. And tonight, he came on and he made a difference. He really, really did. Obviously, he got a great assist, taking the ball down and putting it on a plate for Elliott to hit it first time for the goal. But even his defensive work was good. He made some good runs. He was wiry, as he always is. He was actually making something, or trying his best to make something happen. He was asking questions, which is all we ask really of whoever, starts up front for Liverpool. Genuinely good. And on the basis of that, he deserves to start at the weekend, and Jota shouldn't. I'm going to say Núñez gets an 8.5. Curtis Jones, very, very good. Very good coming on. I think he gave Liverpool a great sense of calm. Very composed as always on the ball. Kept the ball well. Kept Liverpool in possession. Kept it trucking along. I thought there was a few moments in where there was an awful lot of pressure on him, and he came out of these moments very, very well. Genuinely, I thought he offered Liverpool some respite. He made an influence. He certainly made the impact that you were looking for off the bench in a game where Liverpool's midfield was so poor. Very good. Curtis Jones, 8. Wataru Endo came on and excellent yet again. Stuck to his job, put in some great tackles, won the ball back on a couple of occasions for Liverpool. A couple of nice passes, advancing the ball, getting Liverpool out of difficult situations. I just love him. We all do. And he, it's harsh to say, but it's the same as Núñez coming on for Jota tonight in a game where Ryan Gravenberch was far from his best. Wataru Endo came on and was excellent. He picked up the pieces, and that's great to see. Endo deserves an 8. And finally, the match winner, Harvey Elliott. He comes on the pitch, and about 30 seconds later, he scores. And I love the way he takes that goal. First time on the left. Look, could Donnarumma have saved it? Probably, but it would have been a difficult save. Full stretch to his right. I love it. I absolutely love it. And fair play to Núñez for putting it on a plate for him. Harvey Elliott, he only played a few minutes, but he got the goal that secured the win. 8 out of 10. Finally, the manager, Arne Slot. Look, did he get it right tonight? I believe that Liverpool were looking at that game and trying to contain PSG for the vast majority, playing on the counter-attack, and ultimately, if we got a draw, that would have been completely fine, and anything else would have been a bonus. We were lucky tonight, obviously, to win, but we were lucky tonight, even if we got a draw. So did it work? I'm not so sure, but his subs were fantastic. Ultimately, Slot's plan, I suppose, did work because we have the best goalkeeper in the world. But, if we didn't, obviously, I think tonight's result would look very, very different. His subs, as I said, were fantastic. I don't think in terms of the team selection, obviously not having Gakpo was a bit of a blow, but I think he got it, pretty spot on. I think just for large parts of that game, Liverpool just didn't play well. Obviously, that's not Slot's fault, but for the subs alone, I'm going to give Arne Slot an 8 out of 10. So that is my Liverpool player ratings and full match reaction to tonight's absolutely superb 1-0 win away to PSG in the round of 16. First leg in the Champions League. Obviously, second leg to come. And, we are obviously favourites now, but still very much to play for. Only one goal. We need a good performance at home to secure qualification to the quarterfinals. But how can you not be absolutely delighted tonight? There's only one way to end off this video. First of all, please, if you've enjoyed it, drop the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and you want to see more. ALISSON BECKER, I absolutely adore you. Thank you. We are absolutely blessed to have you. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Up the Reds!